Every school morning at Ridgeview High began the same way. The echoes of sneakers slapping linoleum floors, lockers slamming, and morning announcements blaring through dusty intercoms filled the air. But before all of that, there was Mike Carson. Long before sunrise, he arrived with his worn-out boots, an old thermos of lukewarm coffee, and a mop in hand. Most students barely noticed him. He was the janitor, harmless, quiet, and always sweeping the halls with a kind nod and a tired smile. Yet, behind those calm eyes and calloused hands was a man with a past no one dared to imagine. Mike didn't mind the invisibility. In fact, he preferred it. All that mattered to him was his daughter, Lily, a bright-eyed 10-year-old who was the light of his life. After losing his wife to cancer 5 years ago, Mike gave up everything to raise her. He left behind a career, a name that once carried weight in military circles, and settled into this small town where no one asked questions. He worked as the school janitor by day and washed dishes at a diner by night, just to keep the lights on and Lily in a good school. But fate doesn't care how hard you try to hide. One Thursday afternoon, the school gym buzzed with students gathering for a special guest, Sergeant Travis Holt, a well-known military combat instructor and local celebrity. With broad shoulders and a booming voice, Travis was there to give a motivational talk on courage, discipline, and self-defense. Halfway through, he offered a challenge. "Anyone here want to try to take me down?" A laughter erupted, but one student jokingly shouted, "What about Mr. Mike?" More laughter. Travis, grinning, looked at the janitor still mopping a far corner. "You game, old-timer." Mike paused. The mop stopped mid-sweep. The room quieted. With quiet resolve, he walked forward, every eye following him. The janitor was about to step into the spotlight for the first time, and no one was prepared for what would happen next. The gym was dead silent as Mike Carson stepped onto the mat. His shoulders were relaxed, his gait calm, as if this moment was just another part of his daily routine. The students, who had known him only as the janitor with the tired eyes and easy smile, watched with a mix of curiosity and disbelief. Sergeant Travis Holt, tall and muscular, stood ready, clearly expecting a brief and entertaining display. "No hard feelings," he smirked. "I'll go easy on you." Mike said nothing. He simply nodded once. "All right." Travis called out, loud enough for everyone to hear, "Let's see what you've got." They circled. Travis lunged first, attempting a simple takedown, but in a flash, Mike sidestepped with perfect balance, gently guiding Travis's momentum away. Before anyone could process it, Mike had slipped behind him, locked an arm, and used minimal force to flip the larger man flat onto his back. A collective gasp echoed through the gym like thunder. Travis lay stunned, blinking at the ceiling, while Mike calmly stepped back. For a few long seconds, no one said a word. Then Travis sat up, blinking in disbelief, and let out a sheepish laugh. "What the hell just happened?" Mike extended a hand to help him up. "Just redirected your weight," he replied simply. Travis stared at him, respect replacing the earlier smugness. "Where'd you learn that?" Mike hesitated, glancing briefly at the wide-eyed students. "A long time ago, different life." The silence was broken by applause, then cheers. Students who had once ignored or teased the janitor were now clapping, shouting, replaying what they'd just witnessed. But Mike didn't stick around for the attention. He picked up his mop and walked off the mat, returning to the far corner like nothing had happened. But everything had changed. That single moment sent shockwaves through the school and the town. Videos taken on smartphones began to circulate. Whispers turned into headlines. Who was the janitor really? And what else was he hiding beneath that quiet, unassuming exterior? By the next morning, Ridgeview High was buzzing. Videos of Mike effortlessly flipping Sergeant Holt had spread across social media like wildfire. Headlines emerged from local blogs. "Janitor drops combat expert," and "The man behind the mop." Students followed him through the halls, whispering in awe, suddenly fascinated by the man they had always overlooked. But Mike didn't bask in the spotlight. He kept his head down, sweeping floors and changing light bulbs, trying to carry on like nothing had changed. Still, there was no hiding from the attention now. At home, Lily looked up from her tablet, eyes wide with excitement. "Daddy, is this really you?" she asked, holding up a paused video of the moment he took Holt down. Mike sighed, sitting beside her on the couch. He had always protected her from his past, choosing a quiet life after years of chaos and loss. But now the truth was out, and she deserved to know it. He told her everything. How he once served in an elite special forces unit. How he had been deployed to countless high-risk missions, leading men through hostile terrain and impossible odds. But he also told her about the day he decided to walk away. The day he held a fallen teammate in his arms and realized he wanted a different life for his daughter. "I wasn't a hero, Lily," he said gently. "I just wanted to come home." Lily listened, eyes brimming with admiration. "You are a hero," she whispered. Back at school, Principal Morris called Mike into her office. To his surprise, she didn't want to reprimand him. She wanted to thank him. "These kids need someone like you," she said. "Someone real." The Sergeant Holt returned too. This time not as a rival but as a friend. He proposed that Mike lead a self-defense club at the school. At first, Mike hesitated. Teaching again meant opening doors to a past he had tried to lock away. But when he saw the hope in Lily's eyes and the respect in the students, he quietly nodded. "Yes," he said. "Let's teach them something worth remembering." A month passed, and Ridgeview High had transformed. The once overlooked janitor was now Coach Mike, leading the after-school self-defense program with Sergeant Holt. Students who used to loiter aimlessly now lined up in the gym, practicing discipline, technique, and confidence under Mike's calm, watchful eye. He didn't bark orders or put on a show. He taught with patience, using his quiet strength to build others up. His bond with the kids deepened, especially with those who were bullied or broken, the ones who saw in him a kind of quiet warrior they could become. Lily became the program's brightest star. Watching her spar, eyes focused and movements crisp, made Mike prouder than any medal or ribbon he'd ever earned. She had inherited his resilience and grace, but her joy came from something he never had as a child, a sense of belonging. Parents, teachers, and students alike came to admire the gentle strength of the man who once swept the floors they walked on. Then, on the day of the school's first self-defense showcase, the gym filled with families and community leaders. The applause was thunderous. After the final demonstration, a tall, older man in uniform approached Mike with reverence. It was General Whittaker, Mike's former commander. "I've seen you lead men into battle," the general said. "But what you've built here, this is your greatest mission." Mike stood humbled, unsure how to respond. He glanced at Lily, who was beaming at him from the bleachers. "I just wanted her to grow up proud of her dad," he finally said. That night, Mike returned home to a simple dinner and laughter with his daughter. He didn't need medals or news headlines. He had something more: respect, redemption, and purpose. The town no longer saw him as just the janitor. He was the man who had turned silence into strength and hardship into hope. And though he never sought recognition, what he gave to Ridgeview High would be remembered forever. Because sometimes, the quietest people carry the loudest legacies.